What's going on, everyone? So let's talk about Clint Capela. He is officially on the trade market, and Atlanta is apparently pushing hard to get off of him. They want to get something in return for him before he leaves in free agency, and they essentially get nothing, right? So he's probably going to be really cheap. He is on an expiring deal, which is one of the things that I've talked about in the past, talking about Clint Capela, primarily in the offseason. I mentioned Clint Capela because there were rumors about Atlanta potentially making him available. Clint Capela, I am not against that at all. My problem with Clint Capela, like really my only problem, is that he's making $20 million, right? Because it's like I've talked about with like Nikola Vucevic and some of these other guys. Lakers just need a backup center. Anthony Davis and LeBron James are going to be your 5 and your 4. You just need a guy that come in, give you 15, 20 minutes a game, can plug in and fill that void for Anthony Davis on any given night. Clint Capela can do that for you. But the Lakers need more than just a center. Clint Capela off the bench would be ideal. It would be great. One, how willing would he be to come off the bench? And two, even if he was, right, you're committed $20 million. My problem is a Valanciunas, right, $10 million. A Nikola Vucevic, Clint Capela, a Brook Lopez, who was linked to the Lakers. Lakers were interested in. Like these guys that are making 20 plus million. That extra 10 million is massive when you need multiple pieces, right? If we were just like a backup center away and Clint Capela was the answer, I'd be like, go get Clint Capela and let's get this ball rolling. But like, what would you rather have? Would you rather have Clint Capela, or would you rather have like a Valanciunas and like a Dorian Finney-Smith, right? Because the difference is essentially like a vet minimum contract, and you can get both compared to a Clint Capela, right? But if, break glass case of emergency, I wouldn't hate. Like if we got news tomorrow, Lakers ended up landing Clint Capela, I'd be all for that, right? He's still one of the better offensive rebounders in the game. He's not the defensive shot blocker that he once was. He's not like Houston level, but he's still good, especially in a backup role. Like Clint Capela is what we want Christian Coloco and Jackson Hayes to be, right? Like they are essentially Clint Capela all grown up, right? Like, so Clint Capela stepping in and being in that role, and I think could do wonders for a guy like a Christian Coloco and just kind of how he operates. Gives you that floor running big, gives you some size and athleticism, gives you that lob threat, but he can still block shots, he can still defend. Him alongside Anthony Davis would make a ton of sense. He'd help with the rebounding. Again, I like the idea of Clint Capela. I just like the idea of getting a versatile wing more than just Clint Capela, right? If that's even an option, right? If you can't do all that stuff and it's just like essentially like pick your center, then sure, right? Like go get Clint Capela. Again, I prefer a younger route. I prefer, Josh Richardson, or not Josh Richardson, Nick Richards. I don't know where Josh Richardson came from. Nick Richards, or a Day'Ron Sharp or something like that. A younger route to where you kind of have him long term. Clint Capela isn't old; he's 30, right? So he's still like in his prime age. You still would have him for a couple years. The fact that he is on an expiring contract does give you some flexibility, because if it works and he is willing to buy in that backup role, then great. You could sign him to a new deal. Say the Valanciunas price and give him, 3 years, $30 million, something like that, right? He can come in, slot in, and be that guy. Cool. I'm all for that. If it doesn't work, no big deal. You can just let him walk, get off of his contract, and then kind of pivot and go a different direction, right? So I do think that there is like kind of low risk, high reward with Clint Capela. But again, diving into Clint Capela as like the player that he is. Again, age 30. He's got a 7'5" wingspan, which is awesome. He's 6'10", 6'11" in size. Got some good weight behind him at 256. So again, bigger, more filled. He's not like 220, 230 like some of these other centers that we're looking at. It's one of the things that I like about like a Day'Ron Sharp. Day'Ron Sharp is 260, 265. So he's a guy that can come in, kind of give you that size, give you that stature, give you kind of the bang with the big boys, which Clint Capela absolutely can. But as far as his production goes, right, because that's the big question, right? You look at this season, 28 games started. Thing is, too, is again, would he be willing to come off the bench? That's the key, because you're probably not starting him, right? Like Clint Capela isn't so good you justify moving LeBron to the 3. Maybe on occasion, right? Like, I'm not saying you don't do that at times. Like, I do think that there would be times where you have Capela with an Anthony Davis and a LeBron James and kind of have that look, but you're not doing that, 30 minutes a game, right? You're not trying to wear down LeBron to that extent on a Clint Capela, right? It's just, I don't think that the Lakers would do that because I just don't think it's a big enough ceiling raiser guy to justify potentially wearing down LeBron and having him to kind of exert more energy on both sides of the basketball, right? But 28 games, he's averaging 23 minutes a game. So my hope would be, if you're the Lakers, of like, hey, we'll still give you that like minutes, right? We won't start you, but we'll still get you that 20 to 25 minutes, right? You'll come off the bench, but we'll get you looks because AD wants to play the 4 more. We'll get you looks where AD saw at the 4. Maybe certain matchups, you play Denver or something like that. Maybe that's the game where LeBron starts at the 3 and then you have Capela at the 5, right? Like 2 different looks. So that would kind of be my argument of like, hey, we're not going to start you, but we can get you the minutes. We'll get you in that ballpark for the minutes because we can kind of maneuver different guys and put different guys in different positions, right? But he's averaging 7.8 field goals a game at 58% from the floor. He doesn't shoot any threes. I mean, his career literally 0%, 0 attempts. He is just strictly at the rim, lob threat type of guy, rebound, put back, floor running guy, cutter, screen man. Does screen well, right? So pick and roll man, be that threat for like a LeBron or a D'Lo until we end up getting another guard, whatever, right? But from two-point range, obviously 58.1%, EFG of 58.1%, because that's all he's taking. Free throws, he's terrible free throw shooter. He has been his whole career. He's a career 54.5% free throw shooter, so not getting much on the free throw department from him. But he doesn't take a ton. He only takes about 2 to 3 a game. Rebounding is where he really shines, where he really thrives. This season, he's averaging 9.4 rebounds. He is a career 10.6 rebound a game guy. He's averaging almost 4 offensive rebounds a game, 3.6, and he's a career 3.7 offensive rebound a game guy. That's where I think he really thrives still as one of the better offensive rebounders in the league, right? Especially if you can get some real shooting around, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and have a Clint Capela out there. I think you'd have kind of a better balance of that inside-out game that I think could really go a long way. 1.3 assists. He's averaging half a steal, 0.6 steals, and a block a game. He has a career block and a half and just under a steal a game, averaging 10 points. So he's a walking double-double. He's been a double-double his whole career. He's a guy that'll get you, 10 and 10, and on top of getting you 10 and 10, he'll get you a block a game, nearly a steal a game. But to me, it really is just the size, the physicality, and the offensive rebounding that really would bring the value for a Clint Capela. Really would give you a guy that can, like I said, bang with the big boys. You can slot in, you play him alongside Anthony Davis. He basically gives you, like I said, a Koloko, Jackson Hayes kind of grown up, right? Grown up version of that, like what we want those guys to become. Capela's already there, so he helps more now in that department. To me, again, it boils down to like what else is out on the market, what else develops and becomes, right? If you can get Clint Capela for like a second or like 2 seconds, it'd be kind of hard to pass up on that. You're not trading a first. No one's giving up a first for Clint Capela, right? Like nobody's selling anything crazy for Clint Capela. And Atlanta just wants to get something for him. They already have their center for now and the future. They already got kind of the direction that they want to go. They just want to get some assets for him. So again, if you can give up a first or 2 firsts for him and bring that back, then sure. Especially if you can you give up like and can you keep D'Lo and kind of maybe like stack a couple guys and have Atlanta figure it out? Because they're not like winning a championship this year or anything. So you kind of look at that route. I know people are going to say like, oh, why would Atlanta want to help us when they have our first round pick? Clint Capela isn't all of a sudden we're a contender, right? It'd be about Clint Capela plus and then some, right? That's what it'd be about. Like Clint Capela isn't. And again, what you really think that the Lakers pick is probably going to be 17th anyway, right? Like it's what it's been the last like 3 years. I don't see that changing. So it's in like the 15 to 17 range. Clint Capela takes us from say, the 15th pick to the 17th pick. I don't think that that's going to be like this big deal breaker for Atlanta, especially when they're going to get other assets. You think Atlanta would rather lose Clint Capela for nothing and rather than just make a move and, okay, it moves the needle slightly. And the Lakers are probably going to go get a center regardless. So the needle's probably going to get moved regardless. Right now, if it was like Trae Young or something like that, I could see maybe the argument there. But at Clint Capela, it's not something that's so insanely impactful. Could you get like a DeAndre Hunter or something like that in the deal too? Right? Maybe kind of kill two birds with one stone. Because I've talked about, like, you look at the Lakers and kind of what they're trying to do. Yeah, you got like Portland, Jeremy Grant, Robert Williams. Washington, Kyle Kuzma, Jonas Valanciunas. The Nets, you have Dorian Finney-Smith, Cam Johnson, and Day'Ron Sharpe. Okay, well, Atlanta, could you get a DeAndre Hunter and a Clint Capela, right? Kind of get your 3-and-D wing, get your versatile center. Not really on the offensive side, but again, the defense side of things. Again, I don't hate if the Lakers landed Clint Capela tomorrow or later today while you're watching this video. Like, I would be excited. I'd be like, cool. Like that's a great acquisition. Again, really helps with interior presence, give you some level of shot blocking, gives you some great rebounding, gives you a double-double guy that you need coming off the bench, right? As long as he's playing, 20, 25 minutes a game, he's going to get you a double-double or near that. Even if it's like 8 and 8, that's great. And he's still giving you, 3 to 4 offensive rebounds. It's just that much more impactful for this roster. So, again, not my favorite option. Primarily just, if he was like 13 million, I'd probably be more like pushing for him. But 20 million, it's just, I'd rather, like I said, go get a Valanciunas or a Day'Ron Sharpe right? Like Day'Ron Sharpe, I think gives you kind of all of the same stuff that Capela would do at 23 years old. And he also is making a quarter of what Clint Capela is making. So that's kind of my thing. And they're probably roughly the same price. Maybe you have to give up an extra second or two. Sure. Again, Day'Ron Sharpe's 23 years old. You got your center for the next 10 years potentially. But however you feel, whatever your thoughts are, as always, this is a discussion. Pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you like the idea? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Kind of mixed in the middle. However you feel, whatever your thoughts are on Clint Capela, I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So if you enjoy these types of videos, truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.